All right, we are live. And I'm going to make sure that StreamYard and YouTube are talking to each other before I really get going. There we go. They are indeed talking to each other. Things are running smoothly. So, welcome to the Rabyd Atheist. I'm Ed Rabyd, a former pastor turned atheist, now a compassionate anti-theist. I am your host of the Rabyd Atheist, and today we are in Deconversion Hangout mode. So if you are a person who needs some deconversion support, if you're interested in deconversion, if you're interested in talking about why people deconvert and what the end results of deconversion are, I am more than welcome to talk to the other about you. Also, that also means there's some special rules in place today. You have to be a subscriber to participate in chat. And you have to be a subscriber for at least 20 minutes. That kind of gets rid of the drive-by theists that like to spoil the party, so to speak. Don't really want to interact with us. They already think they're right, and so they just drive by and do stuff. So there's also a goal in the Super Chat goal with a poll there as well. If you want me to wear a certain hat, and I've modified two of them with some new bands and feathers, so you want to see what that is, you can, that's the ones you want to vote for. So so we have that aspect of it. I bought a little kit that has like 20 bands and 24 feathers, and so my black hats can be modified at a whim. So, but with all that said, let's see who's here. We had Rimmer here early. I don't know where Fred is. Fred's usually wreaking havoc by now, so he may be busy. He did disappear on me for like a week and a half because he had other things to do. So, and he told me that. So there's that. We have the cranky elder god in the corner of the room. That's always nice. Always feel safer. Martin is here. Wolf is here, and the ever lovely Earl is here as well. So there's all of that. Yes, and there is a new emoji for those of you who are members called Fangs Fin. We took it from the last. Here, this is the latest piece of artwork by I Killed Earl, and out from the fangs down in the corner, we kind of ended up with this. So that's one of our new emojis. Fangs being incredibly cute with a fin on the top of his head held there by a ribbon. Outstanding. So there's that. Hey, and there's Ashra. All right, outstanding. That's your new emoji if you're a member. So membership has its perks, and one of us, we do have some custom emojis. We're constantly working on that. And so you can always expect changes with that. So there's that. But I find this emoji not only adorable, but hilarious. So, so there's that. Yeah, the pink whale is kind of random. But I'm like, it fits. It fits the channel. But there's that. I was also, just so you know, there is somebody out mowing, so we might hear that a little bit from time to time. I think they might be done renovating the apartments above me. They still haven't rented them out, so they might be done though. So, yes, little pink humpback whale. Yes. Hey, Phantom. Oh, Fred's here. Now you're fashionably late, Fred. What am I going to do with that? What am I going to do with a Fred that's fashionably late? Paul's a little late. All right. Yeah. It's weird, but it works. I thought it worked too. I thought it was adorable. But a whale should be pink considering the cold water. Okay, there we go. There we go. That's what we're going to stick with. All right. Deconversion Hangout. I hate to be the one that has the deconversion issue, I guess, but yesterday was a big, Wednesday morning was kind of a big test for me as far as deconversion, because when you have stuff happen to you that's a little bit out of your control and it kind of makes you anxious and all kinds of other things, Um, it tests your resolve as to whether to cry out to some sort of deity or not. Uh, so there's that. Yes, we have the sea cucumbers coming too as well. You're special and important. Yeah, you're special. All right. Okay, but yesterday, my deconversion issue was a little bit of a crisis Wednesday morning. I had a kamikaze deer hit me, so that was my day, my morning, and it's interesting how in crisis points when it comes to deconversion, um, it's one of those moments where you like, if you've come out of faith, there's this instant temptation to revert back to a faith answer, like why God did this and why God did that. Um, yeah, it's one of those moments where there are some people that because of small little things like this, like they want to cry out to God or whatever. For me, this was just a little moment. I used to be a hunter, but I don't hunt hardly any at all anymore, and I very rarely, killing an animal is always one of those things that's like, if it's not necessary, I'm not going to do it, kind of thing. Uh, so there's that. But this was a yearling, probably a year old, a stupid teenage deer, basically, who decided to run out in front of me at the last minute. And I was on the freeway, so I was going about 65, slowed down to about 40 before I hit the deer. So I'm okay, other than I got rattled quite a bit. I don't like killing anything anymore unless it's necessary. So that's kind of that way. But so my Jeep, who I call Stormy after a stormtrooper, TK421. This first thing I said when I saw this Jeep is, it looks like a stormtrooper. So I called it Stormy ever since. Got a black eye, so, but she seems to be okay other than the black eye. Maintenance is good, but yeah, it was kind of a shaking moment. And the reason it's a deconversion issue is because a lot of people, if this had been worse, a lot of people, oh, God saved you and God did this and God did that. And I had a little bit of that when I posted it on Facebook on my personal page. Oh, I'm glad you're okay. And, there's a lot of things that people don't say to me anymore because I know I'm an unbeliever, like, God was protecting you or whatever, that sort of thing. And I'm going to say that the protection was probably my bumper, so yeah, not after Stormy Daniels, no. Uh, yeah, a little deer, probably a yearling, whitetail, being dumb. The dumb deer don't make it. The smart ones live forever. So yeah, the poor deer. Yeah, the poor deer didn't make it. Being a yearling, I don't know where the deer went. It got hit. It got thrown probably 20 feet, and then I don't know how it did it, but it got up and ran into the woods. So, so there's that. Yes, a stormtrooper hit something. I know. I'm not sure who hit who. Hey, Iron, good to see you. Good to see you, Martin. And Ann's here too. Yeah, they're kind of dumb. And I don't know. It wasn't a bad thing. The car still runs. The headlights totaled. I got to get that replaced. The blinker light is going to have to be replaced. And some cosmetic damage has got to be replaced, but that's how this. I'm still waiting on the insurance. I put in my claim, but we'll see what they do. So, but yeah, so, it's a deconversion issue to me because it's usually a great opportunity when people say, well, God saved you from all that. It's like, well, isn't God in charge of the deer? Didn't he try to kill me too? So it's where that argument has it. Once I calm down, it's like, there's always that temptation to say, well, God, are you trying to tell me something? Well, what is God trying to tell me by trying to kill me with a kamikaze deer? Um, so it was just one of those moments. But yeah, I drove the thing home. It seems to be driving all the way. I took it to my mechanic. He says, other than the headlight and the blinker light, which actually still works, and the radiator being pushed back just a bit, he says everything seems to be fine. So mostly cosmetic. So there's that. Yes, acts of deer. Everything seems to be fine. But there's always that people yelling at you about, oh, you should believe in God because God preserved you. I'm like, well, didn't God try to kill me here? So that seems to be kind of an abusive relationship that I don't want to be a part of. So, yeah, this is a 2012. The bumper, when you take the white housing off the top of it, you kind of see it. The bumper on this thing is actual like super duper steel, and so is the frame. So it's an older Jeep, so it's pretty solid. The deer definitely took the blunt of this one and not my car. So yeah, acts of Harry Potter. Cutting it off forced me to swerve 2 lanes. Oh, luckily the lanes were clear, but it was a close call. Nom nom. Okay, so you're going to give credit to Fangs for saving you? Okay, that's acceptable. I mean, yeah, because that's the other thing. Well, pick your deity. Which deity saved me? Which deity protected me in that case? And I think this is, when bad things happen, okay, I've noted so many people that go back into faith because something bad happened, or they go into faith in the first place when they're older because something happened and they perceive it as God saved them out of a problem. The issue is, why didn't, why didn't, we're gathered together. Yeah. Yeah. I miss my headlight. Oh yeah, I mean, I've told people that you can tell that Stormy is a Jeep and she is a dirty girl because she's always showing her headlights. So, and she's a Jeep, so she's a natural dirty girl. But um, so there's that. But you bet on Odin. Okay, Odin. I talked to the Almighty Doug on Discord today. That's more than Yahweh has done. Yes, headlights. So there's that. But yeah, so, but yeah, there's always that argument that I get as somebody who's left the faith. Well, didn't God show you he was real there by saving you? I said, well, he could have like not killed a deer in order to do it, or not put me in that situation. Why is it that God can't convince me to come back with like loving acts? Why does he always have to try to kill me? And so, yeah, I'm glad I'm okay too. I took the night off. One, I spent like 4 or 5 hours filling out insurance forms online and talking with my mechanic about whether my car was okay and to drive and things like that. So, um, luckily, right now it's summertime. So when I go to work, I don't have to have my headlights on because it's still bright enough. And when I leave from work, it's the sun is well up, and so the headlights aren't necessary, so I can keep them off. Although Jeeps have that thing where they automatically are on when you're just driving. So, but yeah, but it's the deconversion issue of, why does God have to try to kill me to get my attention? Okay, why can't He do something loving? Like, if God came down and handed me a check to get a new car for this incident, wouldn't that be a better show and demonstration of his love than trying to kill me with a deer? So it's that kind of thing. But yeah, I wanted to share this because I talked to my therapist that afternoon. Another reason why I didn't go is, like she said, I woke up with a little soreness in my lower back, and I think that was because my seatbelt was not quite completely tight. I did hit it. Thankfully, the airbag didn't deploy because that's automatic totaling a car around here. So, but yeah, if only deer could drive. Yeah, I know. I'm laughing about it now. Everything is going to be okay. But I didn't need God to comfort me. If He's trying to kill me with a kamikaze yearling deer, and I should be thankful that he allowed me to live instead. I'm not really sure that that's a great God. So, yeah, it's just one of those things. God only takes gives to himself, and sometimes to Kenneth Copeland. Yeah, I don't know if it's luck or I don't know. Like you, Asher, I looked underneath the bumper cover there to see what the bumper is like, and the bumpers on these Jeeps are just solid. Like they are super duper solid. So if you hit something with your Jeep, yeah, you're going to do some damage. So, yeah, the poor little guy or gal went flying and got up and ran into the woods. But I'm betting some internal injuries and maybe some broken bones. So, probably didn't make it. So there's that. Well, thank you, Earl. I appreciate that. More members. We have, last count it was 60, so now it's 65 members. And we might be able to do another emoji because of that at some point. We're still behind on the emojis, but we do have a new one. I'm going to put that one on the stage again. This is our new emoji. Fangs with his fin hat. Supporting the rights of, I'm assuming, gay land whales for citizenship. So there we go. But yeah. So, but yeah, the moments of crisis, So who got those? We got hey, Tilting Windmill, you got a membership. John Greer, local admin. Remark the rationale. Heidi Eichenberg, all received. All received stuff. So there you go. Well, thank you anyway, Fred. I appreciate you guys when you donate stuff. But thank you so much, Earl. Thank you so much, Fred. That's one towards our goal today. So thank you as well. So, yeah, the radiator did move a little bit, but the fan belt's still attached properly and it still works. So it's like maybe it moved like a half inch. So I'm going to go to my mechanic tomorrow and see if he can fix it. I'm still waiting for the insurance to see what they'll pay, but it may not be anything because I have a deductible. So there's that. Gay rights for land whales. Yes. It's an old joke. It goes back. Fred, this goes back to Earl's birthday party last year. So it's been around and we still do it. So. Oh, Kevin, 6 months, you hit a deer on I near Durham. It was fine. The car was fine. The deer was destroyed by my Mercury. Yes. It really depends on the speed and it's all physics at that point. I think the deer definitely in this case got a bad grab, but I'm thinking internal injuries and a few broken bones and the adrenaline kept it going. And at some point it died in the woods probably, but there was no deer on the side of the road when I got done trying to find it. So, thank you, Martin. Dearly beloved. Oh my goodness. My deductible, I think, is 500. So, I just don't know how much it would take to repair the whole thing. If it's less than that, then I might as well just not bother. But and see, that's Kevin. Thank you, Kevin. So that's 3 super chats today. Thank you very much, guys. Dearly beloved, few bucks. Thanks. I appreciate it all. Okay. Yeah, Kevin Barry's also an NC. Yes, I believe. I don't know if he's still there, but he's talked about that before. Waivers. Okay. Oh. We have that notorious too for West Michigan. West Michigan, the Lower Peninsula and the Upper Peninsula is notorious for deer deaths. Whitetail are everywhere. I tell people when they move here, keep your eyes peeled for a while until you can see them. I really wish they put like the high deer fences along the freeways. It wouldn't stop them, but it would still help a little bit more. So, but they don't do that here. Well, yeah, I'm always worried about the USA. I live here. Yes, we do have badgers in America, Rimmer. I, I think a year ago I was hiking and I saw one and immediately turned around and went the other direction. Um, so, so yeah, that we do have them here. Nasty critters. Don't they take misanthropy to a whole new level? I used to have a dachshund, which means badger hound. So, but yeah, we have them here. Not in abundant numbers though, so they kind of keep to themselves and stay away from people. So yeah, they're mean little buggers. I think there's only one critter I can consider more grumpy and mean, and it's probably the actual Wolverine. So you have some divine inspiration for the replacement emojis. Yeah, we got like some of you have been like I've been asking for some replacements to some of the other ones we have that are that way. So, but we're trying to get some replacements for some of those and working down on it. I do not joggle Earl's elbow and pressure her for time because I know how I am about that. So, yeah, it's the thumbs up, thumbs down, and head slap one that we're trying to get replaced because I think you guys would rather have Fangs doing that because it would make more sense. I don't know, asshole. I, I I I have people in the military who have heard reports that basically a lot of what's happening in LA is boredom for the troops. They're not really doing all that much. A few isolated incidents, but not much. People from LA don't seem to be all that concerned about them. So, yeah, porcupines don't carry anything. They're like little tanks. They'll walk right down the middle of the road. Yes, I've seen this. They're tanks with weapons. Yeah. Yeah, it's just a few blocks. It's really the problem, so it's not like the problem I have with America is there's not a single decent news source in this entire country that isn't like editorializing for one side or the other. I really wish I could find something that actually just gave me the facts and allowed me to make up my own mind. So, honey badgers will do. Yeah, probably sure about that. So, oh, oh hometown, really? Oh, well, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, it's. I don't know. I'm color me skeptical. Whenever the government or the media speaks, I'm skeptical anymore. So it's kind of the way I am. Uh, yes, facts don't sell newspapers. I don't trust any news. Yeah, we're gonna have an up fangs, down fangs, and a fangs face palm of some sort. That's what I asked Earl to work on, but I haven't joggled her elbow about it because I want it. I want her to be happy with it, and if my artist is happy, I'm usually happy. So um, she tried it once before and it didn't quite work out, and I said that's okay. So yeah, it's just I don't joggle the elbows of the people that work for me, especially when they're working for free. So, and Earl's done some great work. Like this one is just fabulous. And she has one of her other ones that's one of my favorites is this one. I keep this one on standby every stream in case somebody like gets offended or that makes me sad or okay, well here. Allow me to be my Gen X self and just not give a shit about your feelings for a minute. Oh, you like that one, Asherah? Yes, it's one of the Mormonians. Poor little guy, gal. The binky. The binky is hilarious. That's one of the custom emojis too, I believe. So if somebody's making you sad, you can always throw out the Mormonian that's crying. So, but yeah, we got several of those. If you're interested in, if you're a member, you know what they are. So thank you very much for those there. All right. Well, there you go. See, yeah, we were trying to work on some new emojis before, and she did not like them. And I'm like, well, if you don't like them, you don't have to show them to me. I'm not going to like them either. Um, many theists, so you could use the binkies. Me too. Strange how that works, asshole. Oh my goodness, but yes. But yeah, I don't know. Some of my main issues for myself deconverting anymore is this, because I run an atheist channel now and I get it. I mean, it's like, I still get the occasional comment like you were never really a Christian in the first place. And, I get, well, you're being a meanie to my God and my faith. And I want to pull out this emoji at that moment. So yeah, it's like, I, it's my dealing with theists that usually causes my deconversion to get rattled a little bit sometimes, more because it's like, I remember how it was like to think that way and be offended when somebody attacked my faith, and the whole persecution narrative that's just bullshit, in the United States. So it's like, you're not being persecuted when you can get a task force to examine anti-Christian bias in your government. I don't think you're being persecuted at that moment. I think you've got a privilege that nobody else has. So I hope not. The problem, I think, for the Republicans is they're overplaying their hand. They did what the Democrats did too, which is overplayed their hand. Instead of, working slowly to make changes that are beneficial to everybody, they just shove their agenda down people's throat. And people have a strong reaction to that in America. The American rank and file is very much freedom oriented when push comes to shove, and they will shove back if they feel like one of the parties is being too domineering. And the Republicans are definitely being domineering right now because they have that. So it's like, when you overplay your hand like that in politics in America, it usually doesn't end well. So a lot of people feel that the Democrats did that when they were in power, and now they're feeling it with the Republic. If we just got rid of the two parties, we'd be whole lot better off. We just get rid of the fuckers. I don't have time for either one of them anymore. Yeah, they do. It's a perfect one for theists, I think. Yes, I was never an Odinist either. So there's that. Oh. I don't know. See, because I always get into the argument, remember, when they tell me I was never really a Christian, of, well, how do you know you're really one then? If I can go through 20 years of the ministry, 40 years of thinking I'm a Christian and not really being one, how can anybody know that they're a Christian? If that happened to me, how do you know it's not going to happen to you? And that becomes a very interesting conversation, and people really want to have that conversation, but it becomes a less than perfect conversation when you actually so when you actually really think about it, like, how are you a Christian then? So it's one of the defenses I've come. Yeah, define Christian is what Fred says. So it's like, define it. What do you mean by that? And I hate to pull out like Jordan Peterson at that point, but it's like, before we talk about this, the problem with Christian is it has so many definitions. Which definition are we using? I'll agree to whatever definition you want to use, but because all of them illustrate my point, so it doesn't really matter. I don't know. We have a Pentecostal vegetable, but I want to keep that secret until we do it, until we reveal it. So there's that. Hey, Ronald. fine with people telling me I was never a real Christian. I find that's really a bad argument for the existence of God. Yes, it is. You make a very valid point. I've done that before too. It's like, okay, so I can read the Bible that's supposedly God's holy word, and he can't lead me to true Christianity. I can be easily persuaded to something that's false. Huh? That doesn't really talk well of your God and his revelation to man, does it? So, yeah, I mean, any true believer is going to stay with it. But that argument works for every faith too. And I've told them that too. It's like, you do realize that a Hindu could make that argument saying that you were never really a true Hindu if you left Hinduism. It's not really a good argument when you really think about it. Defining. Yeah, there we go. I never was a Christian, but I was afraid to question it until I was on my own and not because of my parents either. Yeah. Yes. Pentecostal Fangs is the next one because we voted on that. We interrupted it for the Catholics because they had a new pope. So we wanted to make sure we were timely. I don't know. I'll try to see if there's some Pentecostals in the news. There probably will be. There's one thing I can count on is my former movement faith making the news for some damn stupid reason. Yggdrasil? I don't know. It's valid. It's as valid as any other made up mythological, worldview of how the world is. Yeah, I mean, yeah, pick your definition of Christian. I'll work with it. I usually show how it's silly. Any of them become silly, so or onion either. I I don't know. I honestly, my problem with the Bible became legion right after Bible college, and then it got worse after seminary. Because how do I maintain that God had a hand in writing something so flawed, edited, added to, taken away from? Like, there's a verse in Revelation that that whoever takes away and adds to this prophecy will be cursed. The book of Revelation, I think, is like got some of the most variance to the text from a textual criticism point of view, with all kinds of different readings than almost any other book in the New Testament. And so obviously people listen to that. So, and the more you study the Bible, the more you realize that if it's God's word, then God is kind of screwed up in the head. Okay. So there's that. Hey, John, how's Holland doing these days? The old country for me. There's a semi-large town in the north part of the Netherlands that I trace my ancestry to. So it's in the middle away from the coast. But yeah, that's where my great grandparents came from. So you're a Raymond fan? There you go. Oh, is it 47K denoms now? They keep adding. Yes, it still cracks me up too. Oh my goodness. It's still one of my favorite. Holy cow. Yes, the distressed breadstick. Yes. Yeah, you mean that one? So there's that. It's okay. I know it. All of them come from the same town, so it's like they just decided one day to leave, and they eventually settled here in Western Michigan. So great grandmother was Dutch. Yeah, it's where the height comes from. These Dutch people, they're tall ass people. So hey, Michael, good to see you. But yes, this one still cracks me up. Poor breadstick being dipped into the vegetable equivalent of the blood of Christ. Yeah, still hilarious. Still. Yes, they do. Holland, Michigan is an interesting place. I'll give it that. They have like a big tulip garden, and they have like actual windmills so that work. And it's like they have their Dutch festival every year, and it's a big thing. My son played for Alma College, and so he had to play Hope College over there all the time in football. So well aware of the anchor thing and all that stuff. So it's weird because Holland, Michigan is inland. It's not even on anything. So it's not the marinara. Crying grocery still gives you giggles. Yeah, I could probably confirm the twisted bitch part. That's okay. I'm kind of twisted too, my own way. Yes, that's it. That's it. That's the town. I was having trouble remembering. I knew it started with a G though. That's the correct one. Yes. So all about a quarter of my people came from there. So I was doing when I was doing my DNA testing, I was trying to find exactly where they came from, and that's the town. So where arrows worse than the bees. Your cooking makes the crochets cry as well. Oh boy. I think we have the guy doing the trimming. Hopefully it'll be done quickly. So hang on. I'll get a little closer to the microphone. And the capital. Okay. There we go. Oh, keep staying friendly, John. We love you. Oh, the province and the capital. Yeah, that's the area. So yes, tulip time. Yes. Yes. It's a great time. I don't know when it is this year. I thought it was in the spring. It's usually as soon as the tulips are ready. They have that planned out. I was actually kind of surprised how planned out that is to make sure that it falls on festival time. So dip your stick and be reborn sounds more cakey than holy. Fair enough. But it's absolutely Catholic, isn't it? Oh my goodness. Yes. Yes. Through the tulips. Yes, we will get to Calvinism eventually. Tulip is a big thing for Calvinists, and as I recall, Hope College is also a Calvinist school, along with Calvin and Grand Rapids, and there's a whole bunch of Dutch Reformed colleges and universities in West Michigan. So, oh, thank you. Only need one more. One more. Right now, the Holy Bunny hat is winning, though, so seems like a favorite. But yeah, oh, there's that. It sounds like May, I would say. I can't remember. Yeah, it's another tulip mania. It's fitting, I guess. You have Dutch Reformed; they're all Calvinist, um, pretty much, and then they have a tulip festival, which is an acronym for what Calvin believed. So, um, I could make it so. Do you want me to make it so, Earl? Because then I could do the hat right now. I should consider that. Let me think about that for a minute. Yeah, I think I'll make that work. I think donated memberships will also count towards that. It's just not going to show up on the gold counter, but yeah, yeah. So, all right, we'll do it. And let's see who's the winner right now. Oh, it's close though. So close. All right. Well, it's going to be the Holy Bunny hat as usual. It's been a common one. The black fedora keeps trying. Um, it keeps falling slightly short. It's just being slightly short of salvation. I'll wait just one more vote, maybe. One more vote. We'll see. So there's that. We got the tulips about right now in Sweden. Yeah. Yeah. So we'll see. I don't know, but the whole tulip thing is hilarious to me because I live so close to. We have a tie now. Now I'm torn. Do I wear the Holy Bunny hat or do I wear the black fedora with the new band and new feather in it? We'll see. Anybody else hasn't voted, you might want to hit that. And Cranky put it over for that in the car. Thank you very much. The Holy Bunny hat wins out. So I'm going to end the poll. We got the things and the things. So now I have to be careful while wearing the Holy Bunny hat because anything I say about Fangs is considered solid doctrine. So, but yeah, I know, but people that want the fedora are going to have to vote harder. So, you want to enter a custom amount from the iPod? Well, God dang it. That's just wrong. Fedora, I voted. Yeah, well, unfortunately, it's a little late. In the end, it was 35% for the Holy Bunny hat, 32% for the black fedora. Did get a few votes for red, white, blue cowboy and the black top hat. But like I said, I've ordered some new headbands and new feathers for the black hats, so I can make them all kinds of different now. I could put 20 feathers in my hat if I wanted to. So, solid doctrine. Hey, Colorado biker. We hail Fangs around here, our made-up deity, just so you know. And I'm wearing the Holy Bunny hat today because of the donation level. So anything I speak about Fangs is official doctrine at this point. So, I mean, if you're going to have a true cult, you have to have a funny hat. You're starting your own cult about Fangs? Well, there you go. It illustrates another point. Oh, yes. Hail Fangs, yes. Yes, this is one of the versions of Fangs, one of his expressions, and then this is a cuter version of Fangs. So I have a lot of them. So, and I've dubbed this picture the Unholy Trinity. So so yes, please hit the like button. Appreciate all the stuff that you guys do. I'm going to be on for a little bit while longer, but you guys got to the Holy Bunny hat, and I want to hang out. You know, if you got deconversion questions or stuff, that's what this stream is ultimately for. But I also want to create it as a kind of secure place where people can talk about what they want to talk about without being yelled at. So, Finn's love will be miserable. All hail Bangs, the true Messiah. Bangs is the true Messiah. Okay, fair enough. Start your own schism, asshole. Anything involving rabbits, Colorado biker, is foreshadowing of Fangs. It's all typology of Fangs, from the Playboy bunnies all the way to Easter and chocolate bunnies, and then everything in between. So it's possible because remember, one of Fangs' powers is multiplication. Like he can multiply himself over and over and over again. And he can be any sexual orientation or gender, him, her, as what you are, so that he can better nibble on your heart. So I don't know. Who Framed Roger Rabbit is a foreshadowing of Fangs. So you're left to your own interpretation, Colorado biker. Which rabbit are we talking about, Roger or Jessica? So, no. Oh, we're talking about Roger. Okay, well, yeah. He's a foreshadowing of Fangs. So some of the superpowers that Fangs has, Roger Rabbit had. Are we surprised, though, Earl? Are we surprised that Asho is the contrarian of the group? Are we surprised by that at all? Not even a little bit. Okay, there we go. I prefer the cuter version of Fangs holding a pink whale. So, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, through the looking at the white rabbit, all that stuff. Anything that involves rabbits is a foreshadowing of Fangs, the true bunny deity. So, and I have to explain some of the origin story of that. Actually, I owe B.S. Lewis this in some ways, but also closed captioning because whenever I used to say the rabbit atheist, it would sometimes translate it as rabbit atheist. And then B.S. Lewis interviewed me once, and for the thumbnail, he had the Tricks Rabbit invoked, and since then it's been all downhill since then, and we've created our own cult to illustrate a lot of cultic points. So there's always a dark side to every revelation, Colorado, and Watership Down is that dark side of the revelation of Fangs. Fangs is after all, fertility trickster god. So he looks cute, but don't let that fool you. Oh, yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying. She fangs. So hail Fangs. There you go. I mean, we also need to point out that according to Cranky Elder God, who is in the chat, he says that Fangs is the offspring of Lisa the Rainbow Giraffe of skeptic fame and an unknown fertility god or goddess. So we keep that mysterious because there always has to be a mysterious nature to deity origins. So as a former theologian or currently practicing atheist theologian, I guess I can get behind that. It could be. We have an old, poor JL, a Bridge the Divide, kind of walked into that one when we had Earl's birthday party, and he started talking about citizenship for whales. And ever since then, the whale joke has been there. It's never going away. And poor JL, I feel bad for him, but at the same time, he's given me one of my most hilarious moments ever. It's quite possible. She is the lap in which our Lord naps. So, and the artistic prophetess of the group. So, and somebody has suggested that B.S. Lewis is like John the Baptist. He's the forerunner to me. So I'm the Messiah. I guess I could make that claim. It's as any good as any other Messiah claim out there, isn't it? Oh, okay. He's the derpy cousin of El. Okay, I can make that official. Yeah, you're the scribe, so you're Paul. So there we go. See, we have all the positions filled for an official cult. I literally, somebody mentioned it last stream and asked, "Have you applied for a 501c3 on this?" And I literally looked into it. And I think the only thing that's stopping me is I would need a board of directors for that. And I'm not sure how that would work out. So, yeah. There's always got to be the apostles. So all of you who have been around for the beginning of Fangs, we're just going to adopt you as apostles of Fangs. So go do your thing. Paul, you're in Russia, right? So you are the apostle to the Russians for Fangs. Congratulations. John, we'll name John Mannon here our apostle to the Dutch. Rimmer is the apostle to the Swedes. So I could do that. I could make my mods the board of directors. I could do that. That's a possibility. Yeah, and thank you, Ann. But yes, I deep dive that, and I'm reading the qualifications for a 501c. And this is what like the Church of Dude and the Pastafarians do. They literally made their stuff an official religion with a 501c, and it works. They literally don't pay taxes on anything they do. So, so there's that. But yes, like all of you that are like Fred and Bren are apostles to the Australians for Fangs. Like all of you that have been right here at the beginning, I'll even though Asshos created a heresy, we'll make him the apostle to the state of Indiana, and on the list goes. I think Ronald's in Ohio, so we'll make him the apostle to the people in Ohio. So, yeah, you're doubting Thomas, maybe. My point is, I do this all the time, and theists hate this because you kind of illustrate how easy it is to create a cult and create a religion. It's ridiculous, but it illustrates the point of how ridiculous it is. So, but yes, I think I could. The apostle to the IRS. I'll let Ann, Ann be the apostle to Grand Rapids, Michigan. They need it. She can be my apostle down there. In order to get a tax break, hell yes. Oh my goodness. Go ahead. You've been anointed Cardinal to Colorado. If that's the title you want, I'll give it to you. Apostle and Cardinal of Fangs to Colorado. So there you go. Yeah. I mean, if I need a board meeting, I just go to chat and have a board meeting. All I have to do is list it officially as like a thumbnail or something. I'm really looking into the alternatives of how to do that before I file the legal paperwork, because I think this would be hilarious. Because I like Fangs as a deity even better than the spaghetti flying spaghetti monster, and and the fact that I connected it to other YouTuber lore like Lisa the Rainbow Giraffe. Do I have a use for Fangs? I don't know. Do you? Yeah, you can do that. Anything bunny related you want to wear while you're doing official acts for Fangs, the Church of Fangsology, go right ahead. You do. He keeps me out of trouble. I'm not sure about that, Earl, but okay. I get what you're saying, because as long as you're doing your artwork, you're not doing something else nefarious that might actually get you in trouble. I honestly, I think it's worth a shot too, because it would illustrate so much about how this works. I don't know. I've always said let them have their tax exempt status, because then they can't interfere even more in elections at that point. So, but yes, I see Earl, you are my testimony now of Fangs' effect on a human life. By giving yourself and your devotion to Fangs, he's probably gotten you out of a lot of scrapes, and you just didn't know what they were. Oh yeah. The rabbit. Yes. Another foreshadowing moment for Fangs. Fangs is the ultimate consolation for your Diapongo the Galactic, but I can serve a double duty. That fair. I mean, I Fangolatry, if you want to worship some other god, you are more than welcome. So, you're practically a monk now because of Fangs. Okay, there you go. See, another life saved from who knows what because of devotion to a deity. There we go. See, we have our testimonials now. Oh man. Oh, it's just too good. Just too good. Oh my goodness. Oh man. But yes. Yeah. I mean, if you want to brew the Abbey beer, that's fine with me. You can keep all the money too. As long as you want. Yes, no. There's no dietary restrictions, honestly. other than to make sure your vegetables haven't been corrupted by religion. And if you think they are, just pray to Fangs, and he'll remove the religious corruption from your vegetables. And I think there's a doctrine out there among some sects that you have to circumcise your carrots. So make sure you do that. There's no proper way of doing that. You have to figure that out for yourself. Yes, we have the Fang Ammons on Earl's blog. Yeah, well, carrots are the only holy vegetable that's pure. That's why rabbits nibble on them all the time. But they can become more holy if you circumcise them. So you have to circumcise carrots. Because what would a religion be without some sort of weird practice? Oh, my goodness. Yes, just the tip. Correct. Yeah, you just have to take the tip off your carrots and dip them in dressing. Dressing makes them more holy, too. So you can cover up the religious corruption of a vegetable by dipping it in some form of dressing. So that'll cover over it. I mean, and if you're worried about your bread, like because bread's made out of wheat, you can dip it in marinara sauce. It makes the bread uncomfortable to be dipped in the Catholic holy blood of marinara, but it'll be fine. Is it okay to butter them? I don't know. Lubricant is always welcome, I suppose. I mean, Fangs is a fertility deity, so he doesn't really have any objections to any form of consensual sex. So this is unhinged. This is where it goes every deconversion hangout. Since we've been able to successfully keep most of the theists out, it's been great. Yeah, one of the commandments is, you're free to consensually nibble on whoever you want to nibble on, as long as it's consensual. So there's that. Oh my goodness. Yes, there's always time for lubrication. So butter on parsnips would be considered proper. We're all for lubricant around here. So yes, nibble onto others as they would have nibbled onto you. Yes, that's a commandment. That should be a commandment. I mean, we're not limited to 10. We just want to use the 10 Fang Commandments because that sounds official. Yes, a little marinara covers a multitude of nibbles. Yeah, it is in there. Yeah, I remember. I remember now. Yeah. Yeah, they try to. They get drawn to that word deconversion like a moth to a flame. Like there's certain theists that they just show up for this stuff to make trouble. They also have this annoying habit of thinking that they're going to persuade somebody who's deconverting back into the faith. And I like to talk about that aspect of deconversion because some people do deconvert and then they go back because of the deconversion process kind of draws them back, but they have completely different answers and things like that. But it's not always like an immediate thing to atheism either. They're just leaving Christianity. So yes, there are 11. There's always one more. Yes. Yeah, we don't allow preaching here. That's the other thing we don't allow. Don't do that. Yep, he's our one of our patron saints. One of the foreshadowing prophets of Fangs. So that's why you can't. Fangs is not a safe rabbit any more than the Charnog rabbit is. Yes, the guy that Paula Gia talked about this week, that was definitely a case of somebody who left the faith for like 15 years and now is a Christian again, but absolutely hates apologetics. And so I mean, I would love to talk to that guy about, okay, on what basis do you say you go back into Christianity? And it seems to be like Christianity is this wide, deep thing. And I'm like, well, then why limit it by Christianity? Why don't you just, go to all, why limit yourself in the box of Christianity and just look at all of them? So there's that. Yes. Sharp, pointy teeth. Yes. Look at the bones. Yes, I feel the same way. Like going back to religion is just like, eh. Um, Here's the thing: as a former pastor and having run an atheist channel for a while, it from a very practical point of view, I would triple, quadruple, the amount of people that would be here if I reconverted. It's like they love that crap. So I mean, the theists assume that nobody here has ever heard of Jesus, and they need to hear strict. Yes, as I try to keep them out of here, out of this particular stream, but Rabyd Fire, they're welcome to come. That's like an open forum, and they don't come there. It's like, and then Saturday I'll be finishing up Paulogia's video on Habermas and finishing the last quarter third of it because there's some points I want to make out of that too. Because there's a guy there in that goes along with the topic. He dismisses the zombie horde in Luke as some later addition. And I'm like, well, why do you dismiss that and not dismiss the resurrection itself? Kind of thing. I have questions. Okay, so it seems like you're picking and choosing. Yeah, it was a nice watch. Great stuff. And so there's that. AJL. Hey, we got one for you. There you go. Oh, there you go. Oh my goodness. Yeah, the resurrection guarantee guy. Yeah. But this one was for you, JL. I think Earl was thinking of you for this one. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I mean, there are people that have gone back. I don't get it. I think for me, the problem would always be, Michael, I know too much. Like, how do I literally have to pretend that I didn't see the man behind the curtain, and I have to close the curtain and pretend that I didn't see that. And I just don't know how I could do that and consider myself an honest person and look myself in the mirror. So, yeah. I don't know if he has. Oh, you know what? Yes. There's the other one. So there you go, JL. I'm sure you'll love that one. It's the joke that won't die. I'm sorry. Oh my goodness. Oh. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I mean, we've had that debate. I do that debate every Halloween. Was Jesus a zombie, a lich, or what was he? I mean, you could get around it by saying that you could get rid of the zombie horde because that's mythological, but liches aren't mythological. So I suppose you could do that. Yes, it's to me that's kind of the way it is, JL. I mean, on a more serious note, it's like I can't go back. I can't be what I was, somebody that's ignorant of all this stuff, and I just can't do it anymore. So it's something that comes up because I was talking earlier in the stream about my little accident with the deer on Wednesday and how people used to in the past when stuff like that happened to me, they'd be like, oh, God's trying to tell you something. I'm like, why does God have to try to tell me something by trying to kill me? It's like, seems like it would be be something else instead. And I think I just can't go back. I can't pretend I didn't see the guy pulling levers and rods behind the curtain to make the great and powerful Oz work. I can't pretend and unsee it. I would literally have to pretend that didn't happen and convince myself that didn't happen. And I just don't know. I don't know if I could do that. I just don't know. So, yeah, there was one I watched it. I listened to it at work a couple of days ago, and I was like, okay, this guy is a scholar. He's he's got the scholarly creds, but he's like going back into faith. He runs a channel where he says he's a Christian, but the Christians don't like him, and the atheists don't like him either. So it's like, it's weird. So yeah, damn true knowledge messed everything up. Yes. I think that's the real problem for me. I remember when I was asked at work, many years ago when I was still working in the meat department at Walmart, why can't you go back? Why can't you? I'm like, I know too much. It's like, I don't know. I don't know how I would do it. Okay. I don't know how I would do it at all. I just don't understand how mentally I would have to fool myself and lie to myself in order to go back. It'd be a lot of lying. Okay. It'd be a lot of lying. So yeah, to me in particular. I mean, I get the cultural Christian thing, but I don't agree with that either. I think a lot of our culture is built on something else besides Christianity. I keep asking for Christians to give me, like in my own country, like give me the biblical correlation to parts of the Constitution, and they miserably fail because there isn't really very many direct correlations at all. So it's like, please tell me how my society, how my government is built on that when there doesn't seem to be anything connecting the two. So I think Corin seems pretty benign. He's never really said anything that suggests he's any more than a Christian than the other guy. Only the self-identification. Okay, so there you go. Yeah, I don't know. My thing with it is I don't understand. I get that some people do deconvert and then they go back into the faith. I just don't get how they do that. Okay, I mean, did the objections that you had that caused you to leave the faith in the first place just disappear? Like you have answers for them now? Or have you just dismissed the idea of even answering those questions at all? Okay, it's like, how do I, how does that change things? How does that change the way I do things? I don't see how I could mentally make that switch. Like I would have to have the questions that I've always asked that weren't answered before suddenly be answered. And I don't think that. So that's probably true. Can't wear the Playboy bunny hat and then go back to religion. Come on, man. Yeah, that's probably true. See you later, Fred. You have a good day at work, man. Ugh. Yeah, I don't understand it. I genuinely don't understand how somebody could do that. Like if your whole objection is that like the gospels are anonymous and their sources are anonymous and you don't have any good proof that any of the events in them happened, why would you become a Christian seeing Christianity seems to depend on at least the resurrection part being true? Like that has to be a historical thing. Well, if you're dismissing the historicity of the vast majority of the rest of the gospels, how the hell do you then suddenly create this special pleading around the resurrection that you won't examine? Like that seems very intellectually dishonest to me. So power grab wrapped in plausible deniability. Yeah, that's probably true. See, the beauty of, bionic, welcome, by the way, but the beauty of having religion connected to the state is if the state screws up, you can always blame the religion. They've been bedfellows for quite some time. So the religion made us do it. So sorry, we didn't know what we were doing. That's a valid point, I think. The canon of writings on Fangs, I got to have some writings. And see, I can't do all the writing myself with Fangs. I'm going to be working on some of that. I have the Gospel of Fangs according to the Rabyd Atheist. And then I think Earl's writing her own. Now, I've also said that we need some anonymous Gospels of Fangs so that we're right in line with the other religions. So found some seems easier for fundies to deconvert. If it's not literal, there's nothing. Yes. Fundies have that problem because they have actually considered if the Bible isn't true in any way, shape, or form, then they can't trust any of it. They have to have it's a 100% or nothing. And so their faith does seem to be based on that. People that have a more nuanced view tend to maybe reconvert. So one could turn to the Jesus close to the dead, especially if you came from an extreme Christianity and you do not want to let go of Jesus. Yes, I think you could hold on to your own version of Jesus, but then I would ask the question, how is your version of Jesus more valid than any other version of Jesus? Okay, it's the big problem, okay, I have, because I'm listening to that guy in Apologia yesterday, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, so you just accepted a kind of a cultural Jesus that you accept, and you have this experience of coming back into the faith. But how do you differentiate? How do you know your experience is genuine? And how do you know that you're interpreting it correctly? There's a lot of assumptions when you argue based on experience that you can't prove. So why can't anybody use that? Like I could say I've had an experience with Vishnu or Fangs, for instance, and thus that proves Fangs to me. Okay. I love using this deity because it's a good illustration, because it's like, if I have a personal relationship with Fangs, how is that any different than a personal relationship with Jesus? It's like there's the core of experiential knowledge being counted that highly bothers me. It's not that I don't trust my experiences. I just want them verified by something else, because I know how easily we put that stuff. I mean, yeah, we could add Peter Rabbit, Looking Through the Glass, Watership Down, Winnie the Pooh. I'm going to probably, for my canon, I will have a recommended reading list of holy books, and those will definitely be in there. I mean, we got to have all that stuff. So every Playboy magazine ever made, yeah, that's got to be in there too. So, all of it. Yeah, I have had an interaction with the cranky elder god. So couldn't I say that experience with the cranky elder god is more valid than Jesus? Because I've actually had an interaction with somebody calling themselves the cranky elder god online. That's a more real interaction and experience than what I would get just thinking and praying to myself. This is why my apologetics professor in Bible college made an argument against experience. He says experience has to be validated by something else, because your experience, you're counting on your own, like, hubris, thinking that you're interpreting your experiences correctly. And that's demonstrated in the fact that, a Muslim can say, Allah lives in my heart. A Christian can say, Jesus lives in my heart. A Jew can say, Yahweh lives in my heart. A Hindu can say, Vishnu lives in my heart. Those that worship the cranky elder gods of this world can say that they live in my heart, or their brains, depending on which one you want to do. And it's a useless argument. Experience is just a useless argument. The only place it's valid is to the person that makes it for themselves. So, Fangs revisionism. We're counting on Fangs revisionism. It illustrates another point. See, I, as somebody who spent 20 years in the ministry, who has a degree in theology and has a degree in biblical studies, I know how this works. In order to have a successful religion, you have to have heresy. Okay, you have to have a heresy to fight. You have to have variance and interpretation and doctrine. so that multiple different people can come to accept religion. Because if you have a very narrowly scoped doctrinal statement, you'll end up with just a small group of people accepting that, and then everybody's out. But if you allow variance, you allow people to run wild with it, you can get a very successful religion and a growing one very quickly. So, as evidenced by many other religions. It should be a bio, man. A cartoon featuring Fangs. Oh, Earl, you probably should write that one down. Oh, Bible man like cartoon featuring Fangs. Hey, Tux, good to see you, man. Jimmy's here. All right. But yeah. So my whole point is that with Fangs is if you're going to do a religion right, you have to allow people to come up with their own interpretation of the main character. Like, if Fangs is the deity, then I have to have all these different interpretations of who Fangs is, what he's about, because then different people can resonate with that. And that's how Jesus Christ and Christianity have survived for millennia, is because Jesus becomes whatever the culture wants him to become. And, it's the Jesus that like American Southerners in the United States worship is completely different from 1,000 years ago in, say, Italy. Okay, those two Jesuses are completely different, but they resonated with those cultures at that time. And it just proves how deities that are flexible, that have some flexible nature to them and can be interpreted in different ways, will survive. Doesn't make them true, just shows how that they can become very, very popular very, very quickly. So, I mean, Lisa the Rainbow Giraffe is actually a good example of that. I mean, you have one YouTuber using that as an example, and now there's hundreds of YouTubers that use it as an example. Pastafarianism is another great one. Allow the interpretation of the flying spaghetti monster to run wild and let people have their own interpretations, and you have a growing movement. It's when you try to get really narrow with it that that the religion fails. Okay, there's plenty of religions that started and they never got traction because they didn't recognize that very important point of creating a religion. So, yeah, tentacles are a great way to. This is why the elder gods still live in the consciousness of people, because you connect with something that raw terror and fear can connect with every human being on the planet in a different way. But it's a very open, flexible concept when it comes to elder gods. Okay, the elder god Mythos is like a good example of how you can create some characters that resonate with everybody, and everybody can interpret that terror according to what they're afraid of. Okay, like they can have a different emotion on it, but it still connects with the deity. This is why I tell people that religion is very emotionally based. It doesn't have a lot to do with reason or logic. It has everything to do with emotional connection. And when people lose their emotional connection to something, they become deconverted. Deconversion is what follows really quickly. So, Pongo the Gigantic, there you go. Had good abs, he's flexible as well. Yes, the ancient one. Cthulhu, yes. Yeah, I think that's one of the things. Like when he reached out to the Gentiles, okay, Paul did a smart there. He's like, I'm not going to convince these people to give up their culture, their food, or some of their other practices. So why don't I just rip it down to the core and get rid of all that? Let's get rid of the practices, allow the practices to be flexible when it comes to following Jesus, but then also still connect it with Yahweh so that the Jews stay in. And it was a brilliant move. It's a brilliant religious political move. Now he's going around saying that, oh, I got this as a revelation from God, but really it's a brilliant move because it allowed the religion to grow into Gentile areas where it survived. Like by the 2nd century, the Jews had pretty much gone back to Judaism because Jesus was a failed prophet to them. But the Gentiles hung on to it because of the flexibility of it. So, and it gave them some sort of stuff. Yeah, you can't compete with bacon. You got to have bacon. And by putting bacon back into a religion, you automatically increase its thing. So, Yeah, they were a lost cause for Christianity. You could see it right in the early days. If you take Paul as a historical figure, which there is a little bit of debate on that, um, and some of the things that he says is true with his debates with Peter, you could see even the apostles were having trouble with his doctrines. Okay, the Judaizers don't exist per se if there's not a problem. So yes, this is right, JL. This is why the elder gods kind of play on our consciousness, because if there is a god, a powerful being on there, I can absolutely see it being an elder god type, playing on people's fears. So it's like, our oldest emotion is fear. It kept us alive. Okay. And our fear of the unknown is what scares the living willies out of us. So yes, we resonate with that. And that's why the concept of elder gods, Lovecraft aside, if you look at some of the mythologies out there, there's a lot of elder god type myths all across the board. I don't think Lovecraft drew his ideas completely out of air. Okay, is what I'm saying. He had source material that he could work with. And it's like there's a lot of gods out there and various myths that are very elder god like, and they appeal to fear. So yes, but then you have other gods that appeal to more positive emotions, and everybody wants to move to that direction. And so it's the emotional connection. I'm firmly convinced, the more I look at my own deconversion and talk to other people who have deconverted, this is the issue. The issue is they stay in for emotional reasons. Once the emotional reasons are no longer valid, they deconvert to something else, or they become like me and go, well, that's just stupid all the way around. And so, becoming an atheist becomes the next logical thing. I just don't see any proof for any deities out there yet. So it's like I'm an atheist, by default, so to speak, although a very strong one. I've toyed with the idea of becoming a Gnostic atheist, but I don't know. I always want to keep that door open just in case somebody gives me something. So, yeah, he declares all foods clean, which, and he, I think Jesus, there's a commentary in one of the Gospels about one of Jesus's words, similarly, like that you can tell this is written later for the Gentiles' sake, because the Jews would never have accepted it, so Paul in the Bible is bipolar and probably also experiencing hallucinogenic experiences. Like he saw stuff that wasn't there. And that's a great way to become a cult leader. So, appealing to fear is a sign of a weak God. Yeah, see, but that's the thing about the elder gods. It's not like you guys are running around telling everybody to be afraid of you. They just are. Okay, it's like you're not appealing to fear. You're not telling people to be afraid. It's just like they see what you are, see what you're capable of, and go, oh, shit. So, even death may die, yes. Great stuff. Great stuff, JL. Getting good quotes tonight. That is not dead, which can eternally lie. Yes. Yeah, so it's or schizophrenic. He could have been a little schizophrenic. I think Paul could have been that. But when you look at the past, okay, who are the holy people, if not people with mental illness that see, and then the society kind of says, yeah, those are our holy people. We listen to them in certain situations. I don't know. I think when you look at religious leader types, it seems to be like there's got to be something there. I don't know of a religious leader in the past that hasn't been psychoanalyzed and said, yeah, they had a problem. So I don't know of one. But hey, Alex, good to see you. But it's I don't know. When I look at deities, I don't know if we have Fangs appealing to anybody's fear other than, making sure you're concerned about your vegetables and make sure they haven't been corrupted by religion. Because Fangs also is an atheist deity. He doesn't really believe in himself. So, So, so that's another perk of Fangs there too. So he's kind of interesting that way. But yes. Who Paul is pretty open. They restyled him as a self-hating borderline cosmic. Yeah, you also have to deal. You're right there because you also have to deal with how Paul has been portrayed over the years. Like he has definitely changed, been changed by the people. Because much like Jesus Christ, you also have the various saints and apostles have also been reformed into different images by different cultures and different people. So, yeah, I mean, how you look at something at a person of history is a good example of that because, for a long time, there are certain historical figures that people thought were awesome until you dig into their past a little bit and see what they were doing on the side. And then, yeah, so there's that. It's funny, I've been chatting a very on fire Christian the other day and it made me feel like I was stupid for not believing. I just wondered how you all would counter that person. Um, First of all, I would point out they're not being very respectful. If they want me to be respectful of their beliefs in a conversation, then don't screw with mine. Okay. But at the same time, I would also point out to them, well, I don't want to get into the fight where I say, well, you're stupid to believe because a lot of people believe, and I don't think it's not a thing about stupidity. Um, Sometimes I just deal with it like by walking away and say, I'm not going to talk to this person because they obviously, they don't have an argument. They just want to diminish me. And that's probably something I would say. I'd say, well, that's not an argument. That's just, you're accusing me of something without evidence. And so can you demonstrate how stupid I am? Okay. Why is it stupid to not believe? Give me your evidence. That's usually a deal breaker. They don't want to do it. They just want that whole line of reasoning is just dismissive. And I would point that out to them. You're just being dismissive. So yeah, the counter of atrocities in the Bible. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, it's not a truth claim. So yeah, I don't consider it. There's a lot of very good Christian people around me that are very smart people. It's not about stupidity. Okay. It's about wanting to believe something. Like, I think the fear of death has a lot of people in religion because they want some sort of way to escape it. I also think that people have regrets with people of the past that may have died or whatever. And so we want afterlife beliefs for that. We're going to get a chance to make it up to them. Um, we have a lot of wishful thinking in religion. And I think that's wishful thinking doesn't mean you're stupid. It just, there's something you desire so much that you hope. But Alex, don't worry if your arguments aren't great yet. A lot of times when I'm dealing with theists, it's more of a dude. Does that indicate that you really? I mean, if you're calling me dumb, demonstrate that I'm dumb. Okay, don't just say it because otherwise it's just ad hominem. It's just a personal attack. And I would point that's just a personal attack. You haven't really demonstrated that you're the smart one in the room. Okay, when you demonstrate you're the smart person in the room, then you can call me dumb. So there's that. Stupid is the stupid. That's all I have to say about that. Yes. Yeah. Well, there you go. Yeah. See, and that's kind of the problem. Yeah. I really don't think I need an argument so much as I need to point out that their arguments aren't very good. And the way I would do that with that one is like, well, you haven't demonstrated that you're the smart one and have the ability to call me the dumb one. Like, can you demonstrate your intelligence for believing in God and then show me that a God actually exists? And then you have the right to call me dumb. Okay. But until you get there, you don't have that right to call me stupid. You don't. That's just disrespectful. This is the Holy Bunny hat. Okay. So I have to be very careful when I wear this hat because everything I speak about Fangs becomes official doctrine. So this is my holy hat. And And anything bunny related, you can wear at home. Like if you have like still legitimate bunny pajamas that you wear, understand that you're also engaged in a holy activity by wearing it. So make sure you're aware of that. So, but yeah. See, it's funny because everybody wants me to wear the like fedora, the official, hat of the atheist YouTuber, but nobody ever votes for it. Well, it got close this time, like very, very close, like one vote off. So, but yeah. But yeah, I mean, Alex, I get it. I really do. I face that. I face that every day on this channel. Like it's like somebody almost every day, not every day, but almost every day somebody calls me names or insinuates something. Like I had like the pendants thing, and oh, by the way, this is a new one. It's a raven going across a rune circle, and I'm sure somebody's going to make the comment about my pagan necklaces, just indicate that I'm still connected to some spirituality, whether I realize it or not. And I'm like, that's the dumbest argument I've ever heard. Okay. Yeah. It's like belief causes people to say dumb things, but it doesn't mean that they're dumb. Okay. And I would never accuse a person of being stupid. It's just like your wishful thinking, your desire for something to be true doesn't make it true. Okay. But if you're going to call me stupid, then you need to demonstrate that. You need to demonstrate that you're the smart one in the room. Okay. And you haven't done that. So, yeah. Intelligence, sometimes they may be swayed by reason, logic, and civil dialogue and asking the right questions. Yes, that's kind of the mode I've tried to do here on this channel. I've had a few theists kind of push me and rub me the wrong way. And it's like, my mods know that like pre-suppers are not really welcome. If they start down that reasoning of you got to prove my atheism, yeah, they're kind of, I'm done with them. There's no conversation to be had there. So, so yes, each pronouncement will create a new heresy. That's kind of the goal. Yeah, it's up to them to prove that their claim isn't stupid. Okay, not you to prove your unstupidity. Okay, demonstrate to me that you're smart by believing in God, and then give me some evidence for said God, and then you're free to call me whatever you want if I still don't believe. If the evidence is convincing to 99% of people, but not me. Yeah, it's all right, man. That's what this hangout is for. Also to have a little fun. We have a lot of fun here. Although I am running out of time, I do have to get ready for work. I skipped work yesterday because of the deer accident, and I didn't get very much sleep. So, and I had some appointments and things like that. And by the time I was done, I had like 2 hours of sleep. I'm not going to work because I won't hit a deer now. I'll wrap myself around a tree falling asleep. So, and so I'm like, nope, not doing it. Self-care day. So called them. But yeah, so it's like, it's kind of that way, but yeah, I think I'm going to call it a night, guys, because I do have to get ready for work. It's about an hour and a half in. Thanks everybody for the donations. Thanks to Earl and many others for donated memberships. Hopefully we'll get some more emojis out, and we will have other hat options. Like had the top hat. I bought some new bands and feathers for my top hat and my fedora, and I've been trying some of them out. So there's a lot of different kinds of stuff there, but yeah, it's gotten a little bit fun here. But Deconversion Hangout is always about having fun and talking about deconversion. And people are having trouble, with people outside of that. So make sure that you stay tuned, okay? Because this is a place where you can be a little bit secure in your knowledge and ask your questions. And if you're still a theist and you're questioning your faith, you're welcome here too. Just be respectful. And we have a little fun with Fangs. And proving some points about religion by having created our own cult. But thanks everybody. Appreciate all of you coming by. Appreciate. Yeah, I don't want to, biker. I don't ride motorcycles for that reason. Too many deer. but yes, yeah. But thanks everybody. Appreciate all of you. Make sure you like the video, do all the things that you guys do. There's more fun to come. I know Earl's working on some custom emojis. They should be up and running hopefully on Saturday. Depends on, she says she's feeling better about it, so her new technique is going to work. But yes, blessed be Fangs. Hit the like button. Blessed be Fang. He nibbles for our sins with sharp, pointy teeth and delivers from the corrupted vegetables. May he forever nibble at your heart and grant you everlasting whiskers wisdom. And please opt towards that like button and subscribe to our benevolent dictator. Name all that is fuzzy, unholy, and slightly ridiculous. Nom, 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 nom. Thank you very much, Earl. You are outstanding as always. Many head pats. But thank you all for coming. And as always, live your best life. You only get one go around and then it's over. So you want to take all your time, money, and opportunities and spend them on yourself, the people you love and care for, and to make this a better world. You'll be happier if you do so. And don't waste them on the trappings of religion and faith, because that's a dead end. I speak from experience. And as always, everybody, thanks for stopping by. And I will catch you all Saturday. And that'll be next time. Thanks.